And that sound means it's the start of another Missal for the masses. I'm your host, Gary.
And I'm Casey.
And I'm Eric, Hillbilly Harper.
And this is the Chaplain's Assistance Motor Pod. This is the podcast that's centered around the vehicles, playsets, and even trailers of the G.I. Joe, a real American hero toy line from 1982 to the present day. We also talk G.I. Joe and connected comics, and sometimes figures and other military and adventure toy lines and comic books. And as you heard, Eric Hillbilly Harper is joining Casey and I tonight. So start off with you. How are you doing tonight, Hillbilly?
I am, if I was any better, there'd be three of me. So, and I don't think the world can handle another one of me. There's already an Australian Eric Harper. There's one right here, and life's good.
That's good. And Casey, how are you doing tonight?
You know, I'm pretty good. A little tired, but other than that, had a good stream today.
Yep.
Watched some TV. Haven't had to do anything strenuous, so it's a good day. Open some toys.
That's right. Casey, you just celebrated a birthday.
Yep, yesterday.
You want me to sing happy birthday?
I do not, but I do want to wish. I know this is going to go out at least a week from now, but everybody who wished me happy birthday, thank you. It meant a lot because I was at work and helped out really. So thanks.
Hillbilly, one thing I like to ask any first-time guests on the show is we are centered around G.I. Joe, and we are centered around the vehicles, playsets, and trailers. Do you have a favorite vehicle, playset, or trailer from the G.I. Joe toy line?
I have one favorite playset, and I have a couple favorite vehicles.
All right. I'll just, shotgun it out.
Well, favorite vehicle, the Havoc. Love it. Blows my mind every time I look at it. Another favorite vehicle, the Skyhawk. Played with it until the wheels fell off of it as a kid. And favorite playset now, I never had any playsets as a kid, is the headquarters. The 83 headquarters.
Well, that seems awfully coincidental, doesn't it, Casey?
That just might be good timing.
So, yeah, and if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably already seeing in the title. Yes, tonight we are talking about the 1983 G.I. Joe Headquarters Command Center, and we are on the countdown to Missal 100. This is Missal number 92. And, with us, we're bringing on some friends and, Hillbilly's here, part of the show. And really nice having you this weekend, Hillbilly.
Thanks for having me. This is an honor. I enjoy your podcast. You definitely have the voice for podcasting, where I have the face for radio.
Oh, well, we're all just chilling out, talking toys and sharing our love and hopefully being mildly entertaining, if not informative, for somebody in this hobby, or maybe not in this hobby and just want to hear the sounds of our voices.
Yeah.
I'll take whatever the listener wants at this point. And so, Hillbilly, you're used to this, and obviously Casey. But for any new listeners, when we talk vehicles, playsets, or trailers, we typically go in the order of box, then we go in the order of blueprints, and then we talk about the toy itself. So let's begin. And we'll begin with the box. It's the front. And Casey, do you want to start us off describing the box? And of course, as always, got to plug Carson Metaxas's 3D Joes for the excellent images to share using the streaming software. So Casey, it's all yours.
Yeah, it's nice and shiny. Command center. Love the dragonfly there because I think I see my boy Airborne the gunner seat, so you can't beat that. You got Flash up there with a laser cannon. Uh, Scarlet doing something. I'm not sure what she's doing.
She's on the camera.
That's a camera.
Yes.
All right. But I mean, you got your basic 83 and below Joes on here. Gung ho and rock and roll, firing away. Snake Eyes holding up his Uzi. Grunt. Uh, I love how the vamp is raised and Clutch is shooting the cannons off that. And I believe that might be the Mobat in the other window over there. It's got the cannon sticking out. I could be wrong. I think it's the Mobat.
It is the Mobat.
Yeah. And the flag's all nice. And I love the explosion background. Uh, it it's a very good art on there. Is this Hector Greedo?
Oh, probably.
I would say it is, but I mean, if it ain't him, somebody's copied him really good. And why wouldn't you? It's fantastic. But it just looks like a fun playset. And I did have it as a kid. It was fun. And I had it for a while when I got back into collecting, but I did pass it on just because I didn't have the room for it. No other reason, except for the other person really wanted it.
So, segue to Hillbilly.
I've only seen the box a couple times in person, and they bring this playset to life because there's like there's action going on. You have that big dynamic explosion in the background, and you got people throwing their fists in the air, yelling yojoe, and they're just tearing everything up. They're just getting it in there and just working Cobra into the ground. I'm sure I seen it as a child and was like, man, that's amazing. But we didn't have much. And then I seen it in a second or in a toy shop here in West Virginia, and they was wanting a pretty penny for it, and it was in the box, in the original box. I think it was loose in the box, but still, it was in the box. And I took a picture of it and I sent it to my wife. I was like, please, 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 please. I've been a good boy. And she's like, you've not been that good of a boy. I was like, ah. And so, and then this guy I'm really good friends with last year was like around Thanksgiving, he's like, hey, you want to make a trip up to Indiana? We'll go on toy hunt. I was like, sure, sounds like fun. So my wife and I, we do the trek into the land of flat where you can watch your dog run away for 2 days. And on the evening before we was leaving from him, we all went out to dinner, me and one of our friends and him. And he's like, hey, I got something for you. And he brings a long box over to me. And he's like, it's the headquarters. I'm not going to mention names, but whenever Casey handed me that box, I about fell over. I was like, what in tarnation is this? I was like, holy cow, this is so cool. And we came home and I kicked the door in on our back door, threw my wife to the side, sling everything off the kitchen table, started putting this thing together. I got on 3D Joe's and looked up the blueprints so I could know how to put this together because I'd never seen it assembled. And I get it together and I go get my wife and pick her up out of the floor where I pushed her down. And I take her to the kitchen. I was like, look at how beautiful this is. And my wife's like, you're an idiot. And she walks off. But I am just so enamored with this thing. It's gorgeous. You okay up there?
I'm just enjoying the story.
I'm sorry. I get wired up, and I'm going to do my best not to embarrass you and Casey. That bothers me because I do get excited and I do get passionate about stuff, and I do like to tell stories. I get fired up. Ask Casey how fired up I can get.
But yeah, I was thrilled to be able to pass that on to somebody I knew would appreciate it.
Oh,
Uh, to me, it was in a box. It wasn't doing me any good. I don't have the space for it, and it went to a good home.
I I would have pushed whenever I was 8 years old. I would have pushed somebody's grandparents down a flight of steps and curb stomped them for this thing. I mean, I never I never had a a, a play set before. My play sets were either the couch, the covers on my bed, pillows on the bed, out in the yard playing, or the garden, out working in the garden whenever I was growing up. So to actually have a play set, if you could see it right now, I have a bunch of Joes like milling around inside this. I have a Python Patrol trooper. He's laying down on a bench in the jail cell. I have a regular trooper laying on a bench, and I have Destry behind the bars. And I've got Falcon in the gunner seat. I've got a Night Force short fuse running the big secondary cannon. I've got a Night Force tunnel rat up here. I've got the vamp in it. I've got the Mobat. Is it's just a work of art. Whoever came up with this was a pure genius.
Taking a second look at it, they're all shooting in different places. It's so funny, and like 3 or 4 of them's aiming right at the ground.
Well, I mean, you can't really show it. It's kind of hard if it's shooting at
Yeah,
the person looking at the
Yeah.
box. You're just going to see you're not going to see anything. You'll just have like a circular burst
like a
or
blast
maybe a
effect.
bullet coming at your face.
Yeah,
But it's but the crossfire could be considered intersecting fields of fire.
Yes.
could be.
And
And the way I
I like the fact. Well,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
all right. Well, I haven't got to talk about the front of the box. I like it,
I'm sorry.
but
Nice.
yeah, it's pretty cool. No, no, but one thing I notice is just like the 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 ground it's on like dirt, and you still got like tire or tank tracks going around the front, kind of veering off as you get close to it. I know you got the inset of the actual toy on the front of the box, and there's breaker that's behind the main cannon where Snake Eyes is yelling yojoe, and behind rock and roll, who's in one of the corners, you got Doc, and it's just you got the spotlights. It's just like you said, it's a great representation of the cover. Can only echo what you two already said. And with that interruption, Hillbilly, you can finish your thought. I'm sorry.
Sorry, that is my fault. I'm wound up right now. The blizzard I had today is like just slamming me into the back of the head. But the way I interpret like the gunfire is like they're being attacked from the air. They're taking out ground forces on the ground where they're shooting down. And the one thing I just noticed, the dragonfly where it's shooting, the cannons are doing a V on the front of it.
Yeah,
Well, that's because on the original Dragonfly, the Gatling cannon went up and down, while the laser part was stationary. So that was like molded into the base. Later versions of the Dragonfly made the whole piece one cast piece, whereas the earliest version of the Dragonfly had you know the independent movement.
See, I did not remember that because I had two dragonflies as a kid. Wore, wore the wheels plumb off of them. And I did not, I had the 83 dragonfly, and I did not remember that front cannon coming up and down. That's
It was
cool.
I only got it because I was in Goodwill.
Hmm.
My son was, I think, a year old, so this is like 2015. It's what was it, Labor Day week at 2015, and there was 4 GI Joe toys that they had just wheeled out in the bins. It was a Mobat, it was a Dragonfly, there was a Wolverine. I can't think of the fourth one off the top. Maybe it was a Vamp. but I'm not sure on that. But I bought them all for like $8. And the Dragonfly had a broken main rotor. And they're like, oh, we can only charge you $1 for this. I'm like, yeah, okay. And it's like, but it had the 2-piece cannon, which was, you know, not common. And I was just like, score. And
Yeah,
I just put it on. So I have two 83 Dragonflies now, and one of them has the second version of the gun, and the other one has the first version of the gun.
that's awesome.
That's cool.
I'm
Yeah,
so jealous right at the moment.
it's just it's just money. It's just
Oh,
toys.
yeah, I know. But it's the memories that they bring back. So,
Yeah, my memory of the 83 HQ is I bought mine secondhand from another collector, and I remember I brought another one, and I had to piece them together to make one. And I think at that point I only had to buy like a gun or two to finish it off. But you will get into this more when we talk about the toy. But you know, this thing has issues. 40 plus years later, things to consider. But all right, I think we're done with the front of the box, and we can go to the back of the box. All right, so I'll go around, read the back of the box, and headquarters, command center. The G.I. Joe Mobile Strike Force headquarters contains the U.S. Army's top secret weapon systems. Use your collection of G.I. Joe vehicles, weapons, and figures in the command center to help battle the evil enemy army of Cobra Command. And just going around, you have the official G.I. Joe flag. You have searchlights, surveillance cameras, and machine guns are removable. Double devastation cannon pivots in all directions. We have a heavy equipment supply depot. We have a radar dish. We have sturdy construction for rugged play. We have the motor pool with movable mechanics lift. We have the helipad for G.I. Joe aircraft. Super realistic detail, figures and vehicles sold separately. And then we have some pictures on the bottom. File card storage compartment, command console with seats that swivel, and movable instrument cover, weapons armory with 2 storage levels, stockade for enemy Cobra figures, movable mechanics lift for G.I. Joe vehicles and weapons. Walls have gun racks to hang weaponry, and generator cover removes to show generator detail. Yeah, there's a lot going on with this toy. I'm just gonna lead off really quick. I hope the other two of you guys see this too. But you see the map next to Scarlet?
yes,
Yes.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
yeah.
It looks really good because the one I passed on did not have all the decals, and they really do help make it better.
The one I have has a really cool map of an island. I'm guessing it's Cobra Island. It looks a little bit
Yes.
different. It looks a little bit different than what's in the picture. Um, I don't know if that's supposed to be like a loose map.
Yeah. I don't. Well, I mean, the pictures you see are the probably the prototype when
Yeah,
it was like getting really close for production, and so they took the pictures for the box art. You got that red accent on the Mobat, and
yeah,
the dragonfly looks really dark green.
yeah,
But yeah, that might be like a running change. They were planning on maybe including a map, and maybe having the a little more like foil decals by the main cannon.
yeah. Because I'm comparing it to mine, and mine's on square, and the map beside Scarlet is catty corner.
Yeah, so I would say that's probably a running change.
Yeah, that's still really cool though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can really tell it's a loose map there.
Yeah. Again, it's something really cool, and it would not be hard to make a teeny tiny little map like that.
No, I like the fact that they did the walls, the gun racks, and they show how to hang the weapons on the
Yeah,
gun racks. I mean, as a kid, you wouldn't really know how to do it.
yeah.
As an adult, it helps to have
Yeah.
pictures.
Whenever one thing I notice here that Casey will love is that Scarlet's crossbow fits in that gun rack.
Yeah.
Never a fan of the crossbow.
So the decals under behind the main cannon, are they supposed? Is there supposed to be decals there, or is that something that they changed in on the fly? Because mine don't have that, and it may be something that's missing. Oh, hold on a second. Let me look. No, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. It's there. Never mind. Pay no pay no attention to me.
Okay. This is one of the few times when I'm podcasting that I don't have the toy in front of me
Yeah,
because it is in like a little bit of a diorama setting.
yeah.
And I was just like looking at it like as we were getting closer to the time, and I'm like, I do not want to take this out because then I have to set it all back up again.
I'm
And it's not
actually
even that hard. It's just like
yeah.
I
Yeah.
just do it.
I'm actually wanting to take mine and build the pit under it, like different levels.
Not yeah, nice.
If I can figure out how to do it, I can see it in my head. I just don't know how to piece it and how to paint it and how to shape everything. So
There's a guy in the I think G.I. Joe, Real American Hero 82 to 94, he showed building like a diorama with the 83 HQ on top.
that's cool.
And it was the guide put a lot of work in it,
Oh
like
yeah.
pipes from the top and everything's painted. And that'd be really cool. I mean, it's just, wood, nails, and glue. And then you get into everything else.
Or pink foam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straws for pipes.
Yep.
That was a fun episode.
Yeah.
But isn't this, if I remember right from the comics, it's been a while since I've read the Marvel run. This could be set up by just a few soldiers. They drop it
Yeah.
off. You open up the crates. You put it together.
This was a portable headquarters.
Yeah.
Yes. It made two notable appearances. In issue number 18, they prefab it in preparation for the battle of issue 19. So when Cobra is invading the Chaplain's Assistance motor pool in Fort Wadsworth, Staten Island, they would blow apart the building, and then this would be the fortress hiding behind the facade, so to speak. And then it reappeared in issue 24 uh, when they've captured Cobra Commander in issue 23, and then they go to somewhere in the Rockies and they airdrop it and they make Cobra Commander put it together.
Yeah. That always stuck with me. I thought that was pretty cool. And Storm Shadow saved him.
And that had a Skyhawk in it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we've covered the box. I guess the next thing to do is the blueprints. And the blueprints have 18 points of interest. And we'll just go down 1 through 18 really quick. We go number 1, we have the heavy equipment supply depot where you typically put your Mobat.
Yeah.
And then we go to number 2, the searchlights. They're like a dark off green plastic. They clip on to the walls
Yeah.
of the headquarters. Then we get to number 3, the laser cannon. This is a dark gray plastic piece. Sits in the center section off to the left of the main cannon, but it's off to your right. So if you're getting shot at, so let's just call it stage left. You go to number 4, you have the battle station, which basically looks like the main center section of the headquarters. Number 5 is the main cannon control pod. That is the green plastic where your figure sits to fire off item number 6, the double devastation cannon. I think it's interesting. Casey knows they're not calling out caliber, they're not calling laser, they're not calling anything. They're just calling it the devastation cannon.
Can you mind if I point out something?
Go for it.
Whoever is manning that cannon has got a set of stones on them because they have no protection. They're out and wide open.
And it's funny you say that because I don't want to get too far ahead, but like when they reimagined this headquarters for the Sunbow series,
Mm-hmm.
it's clearly well defended.
Yeah.
So I would say that, that's more of the toyetic
Playability.
playability of this rather than the realism. It's like the Triple T, the Stun, the Havoc.
Yeah.
But it's still fun.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Like we always said, there's no OSHA in G.I. Joe.
No, there's definitely no Ocean Cobra.
Definitely not. They don't care about anybody. It works for them.
Look at the Fang helicopter.
Yes. But let's keep moving down. Number 7, you have the official G.I. Joe flag. Then you get to number 8, you get the generator. I think it's interesting that they made a point to put a generator on this.
Yeah.
So if you're in play, you can attack the generator. A year later, you could get your Firefly figure to sabotage the generator. So got some definite play moments coming from that. Number 9, you have the infrared surveillance camera. There's 2 of these, if I remember correctly. They're only showing one on the blueprints. It's just the camera for, infrared, night vision. We get to 10, you get the 20 millimeter machine gun. I think that's a little big myself for the size of that machine gun. Another one where you get 2 of them per headquarters and they're only showing one on the blueprint. Number 11, you get the motor pool area. That's the place that's typically used by the Vamp.
A lot of different things can fit in there.
Yes. Just about every vehicle from 1983 fits in that bay.
Yeah.
MMS, the HAL, the Whirlwind, obviously the Vamp, the Polar Battle Bear, and the Flat Cannon.
Yeah.
They all have divots in that motor pool area to either shoot inside the slat there or above the slat. And I think that is one of the most genius moves for a toy line of all time, to make sure almost every one of your vehicles is compatible with the playset.
Right.
Yeah, no, it was a good idea.
Again, whoever designed it was a genius.
This was designed by Wayne Luther.
Okay. I also like how the motor pool bay, you can slide that thing out and it'll lift the platform up.
Yes.
At Joe Fest, I'm going to be looking for these blueprints.
Yeah. Honestly, I got to say, since Carson's redone a lot of things, like, I don't even take out especially because I do this now with Casey, I don't take hardly any original paperwork out of my collection anymore.
Well,
I just feel like I present it because the scans are so good.
Right.
Right.
I just want the originals just to frame and have.
Yeah, absolutely. This was originally labeled the TriStar Battle Station.
That's cool.
And I love the controversy. Does the helipad go on top of the jail or not?
Yeah.
I say not.
In the sketches shown, it doesn't show it anywhere, which means it might have been a later edition.
Hmm.
But the first sketch shown, I don't know if you guys can see it. It shows the single cannon, much similar to what was used in Sunbow.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then when they were doing the notes, there was a note that says garage space for tank, jeep, and other vehicles and large weapons. So this was planned from the
Yeah.
start to have that interchangeability,
Yeah.
and
Got to plan ahead.
to plug another great thing while supplies last,
Yeah.
is Dan Klingensmith's creating GI Joe. The 83 HQ is found in volume 10.
And now you know.
Yeah.
And
And
now you
knowing is the other half of the battle.
yes.
So, all right. Where did we leave off before we got on that tangent?
The
Motor
vehicle
pool area.
bay, motor pool bay.
The 11 was the motor pool area. So number 12 are the weapons racks.
Yep.
So pointing out where to put all your extra weapons. That's also a great thing. 1983 was the first accessory pack, if I remember right. So you got more weapons to stock up
Yeah.
the armory of the 83 HQ. Number 13 is the mechanics lift on the motor pool side. Then you get the number 14 is the helipad, which is the fourth piece, and kind of like the separate adjacent portion. Some people put it on top, like Hillbilly said, put it on top of the jail. Myself, I leave it off to the side to display my dragonfly. And then number 15 is the radar dish that is at the rear of the 83 HQ. Then you get 16 is the command center console. It's adjacent to the jail or the brig. And then you get number 17, the remote viewing screen, which is just the two decals that, have a Marvel Comics image of issue number 4 on top. Thanks for the memories. And then you get number 18, the stockade. So jail, stockade, brig, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So that's the rundown of the blueprints. And now we can talk about the toy themselves. We have talked about how each of us have gotten it. And then real quickly over to yojoe.com. And just to say that this thing originally retailed for $24.99. And the box came with 8 flag points. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Casey, you've had it when you were a kid. You had it when you're an adult. Now, Hillbilly, you got Casey's old one. So you guys, you guys got to have shared experience with one and Casey with another. What have you guys noticed since you guys have had your headquarters?
I mean, when I was a kid, it was so much fun. Actually have a place you can do battles with, but it just made me. I don't know. Maybe I'm greedy. I just wanted more. Give me some more play sets. Give me Doctor Venom's laboratory.
Yeah.
I mean, they can do it because they did an amazing job with this. I know they can do that. Brainwave scanner. Let's get all this stuff. Play sets are. That's why I love the 1/18 scale so much, because you have the world building, and GI Joe does world building like nobody else.
The thing I keep picking up on is everything that you could do with it. Because if you do not have room to set your helipad off to the side, placing it on top of the jail cell is still a way to keep it all compact. But if it wasn't for this item right here, we would have never had the flag. We would have never had the Terradrome. And if you would get the one set that had the tower, the watchtower, and the gates and everything, and then you get the bivouac and all that, you would have a massive play set. It all clicks. Once you get that, and you could have like a road set up. Yeah. If I'd have had this as a kid, my parents would have never seen me out of my room. It would
It
have
was a
been,
lot of fun as a child. It
yeah.
really was.
Then again, my parents would have probably been happier not having me out of my room. But still, uh, it's just, it's so versatile. Uh,
Yeah, it is probably, I would say, the first centerpiece of GI Joe toys in the O-ring age. Obviously, it's the first big playset, but like you said, it's the you can build on it.
yeah,
Adding the watchtower, adding the machine gun post. The I personally wouldn't pair the bivouac with this. I think the bivouac is a little more,
right.
you know, that's where you want to have like Recondo and later on you'd have like Outback and maybe Falcon,
Yeah,
out with that. It's the main base. You could do whatever you want when you have a GI Joe main base. Checkpoint Alpha.
yeah,
I have my Checkpoint Alpha paired with this. It's a great staging area for play.
yeah.
You can have Cobra attack it. One of my favorite photos that I've taken doing this podcast is when I have Buzzbores attack it, because it's just like, Cobra's going to attack G.I. Joe's base. Uh, they did it in the comics. They did it in the cartoon.
Yeah.
This was the inspiration for the cartoon. We did briefly talk about a sketch by Wayne Luther for this that really looks closer to the Sunbow. I get it. This is the first thing that you think of, or the first thing you use when you think of setting up on your bed, setting up on your kitchen table, on your carpet. Starting with a large area of play.
Yeah.
It really expand. This takes the living room. It makes the entire living room the battleground. It's not just two guys going. You're
Yeah.
bashing them together with fingers. This is okay. This is you playing the general flag, and you're moving the pieces across the table.
It pardon the pun, but it turns it into 4D chess because if you have buzzboards coming, think about it. You can have battle damage. You can remove a panel, act like a buzzboard shoots through a panel, and it. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of wear and tear if you're taking it apart and putting it back together and whatnot, but still, in 1983 when this came out, anything was possible. And if you had like the checkpoint and the watchtower and all them other little play sets, ah, you it would it would come close to rivaling the Terradrome, I think.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. Absolutely. I think this is just a wee bit more compact than the
Yeah.
Terradrome. The Terradrome's strength is the fact that it is a 360-degree base.
Yes.
So it really completes it. Like that can be the center of a living room.
Yeah.
But the headquarters command center, probably what you would say is the weakest attribute of this toy is the fact that it doesn't have a rear. For one very good reason, how are you going to load your Mobat and your Vamp into it?
Right.
But for a more obtuse reason is, how big are you going to make this?
Yeah. And and I guess that's where your imagination comes in because if you're using your imagination, it don't matter if the back of it's open. You can still pretend that that's just part of a. You could take pills and throw up beside it, and you can have it into a cannon or a canyon. Sorry, excuse my slip up. But you could, I don't know. I'm again 8-year-old hillbillies coming out and like looking at this and thinking, what all can you do with this? Because like I said, if you have it against a wall, have pillows or whatever beside of it, or if you want to be adventurous, go out and get your dad's cinder blocks that's laying out there and stack them up. You can have walls and you can have corridors and stuff. Just how you wanted to go at it.
Seen it in a certain play motion video. You can use styrofoam. You get your
Yeah,
packaging styrofoam. You can make walls out of anything. And like you said, it's just use your imagination. This is a great piece to build off of.
yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about things to watch out for if you have a headquarters in 2025. I remember with my two, the biggest thing to worry about is broken tabs. This is a metallic silver plastic for most of the walls and stuff, and it is very brittle,
Yes.
stresses easily, and thus breaks easily. Everything slides in and out. You can assemble this with a broken tab or two because everything locks together with that sturdy construction. And the place is not so rugged anymore, folks. So
Right.
be mindful of that. But it was engineered actually pretty smart. I think that's why a lot of tabs broke, is because people got frustrated taking it apart.
Yeah.
So the missing pieces commonly are the little machine guns, the little cameras, the little spotlights, and those clips also are known to stress and break pretty easily.
I've got a story on that. So I came home, I set it up, I'm putting it together. Casey has a searchlight with it. I'm trying to get the searchlight like to snap on in place. And I don't know, I have this bad habit. I don't know when things are too tight or tight enough. And I kept pushing, and the thing goes flying across the kitchen. I'm like, what just happened? I sheared the bottom of the clip off just by pushing it onto the edge of the wall.
Casey, I'm looking at your face right now. I know none of the listeners can see it. Is this news to you?
First I'm hearing it, but I mean, hey, stuff happens. It's a 40-year-old toy.
Well, and I wasn't going to like, Casey, I need a new lamp, or searchlight because I'm an idiot. I was going to deal with it. And then I went to start finding the little odds and ends that I was missing for it, like the cameras and whatnot. And a guy, a friend of ours, was like, "Hey, I've got a trashed headquarters. What do you need?" I'm telling him what I'm missing. He's like, "Got it all. Send it to me." He sent me the searchlights and everything. So this is, as far as I could tell, 100% complete now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
See, I sent it to the right place. I wasn't going to finish it. I wasn't
Oh,
going to put. I had no place to put it. So this is good news.
yeah. And like, if I would ever part with it, it would go back to Casey.
Yeah. I mean, they're toys, We're just caretakers for a while
Yeah.
now. Yeah, I love mine. Like I said, mine's in a place of honor. It's on the top shelf, and it's all displayed and it's filled up. It's just such a nice piece. It is a perfect example of the engineering in the early line.
Yeah.
Absolute model kit quality. The decals, I'm not sure what to feel. There is a red stripe that goes all the way around the headquarters on the front and decals. I'm not sure how I feel about that red stripe. I'm not too big of a fan of it. Toy hack stickers, can really brighten things up. And I haven't really gotten there yet with mine because the stickers are passable right now. But mine's getting close to needing to come down, get a sudsy bath and, get redisplayed.
Yeah, the one Hillbilly's got, I scrubbed the crap out of that because I bought it in a lot and it was nasty. It
It looks
took a
great.
long time to clean.
Yeah. It looks, to me, it looks as close to brand new as it can get. 40 some years later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. I don't know. You guys got anything else you want to talk about the headquarters, or do you think we should go straight to rating it?
I'm ready to rate.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Hillbilly, we rate on a scale of 0 to 5, 0 being absolutely utter piece of G.I. Joe garbage. Send it right to the scrap heap for Dr. Mindbender, to number 5, which means, General Flag would be proud. You're the guest, Hillbilly. Where would you put this on the rating scale?
I would say 5, solid 5. I mean, playability. Whenever I was putting it together, I found like the part for underneath the in the floor where the Mobac goes. I was like, "What is this?" And I got studying, and I found out it's for file cards. So these like setting kids up for success to be able to give them a place to store their file cards, so they wouldn't lose their file cards. Um, you could set the cameras and the guns don't have to go in those exact places. You can put them in different places. Solid 5. I'm not going to go crazy. I could have said a 10, just blowed it plumb off the charts, uh, but I, I'm tickled to death with this. If you can't tell, I mean, I'm out here almost every day looking at it and like, I cannot believe I have this now. I'm gobsmacked.
That's absolutely awesome.
Yep.
And Casey, how about you?
I would give it a 4. It's very playable. Like I said, many hours as a child playing with this thing. It's great. I only give it a 4 because I mean they really take a step up when it comes to their play sets with the Terror Drum and the flag. But that's just me. It's a lot of fun. 4 is a great score.
And Casey's right, because this is kind of like dipping their toes into the water and seeing what it's going to be like.
All right.
If this would have failed, we'd have never got the Terror Drum. We'd have never got the flag. We'd have never got the 93, 94 version of the headquarters. We have never got none of that.
I don't have the 90. You're thinking of the 92, the neon headquarters.
Yes.
I have the middle years headquarters, which is the 92, but in muted colors.
Mm-hmm.
I still have to finish going through all my junk and put it together. Because I know I have everything. I just don't know which tub everything is. It would pair well with putting that headquarters behind
Yes.
this headquarters. But at that point, you're taking up as much room as a flag. And if I'm going to rate this, I'm going to give this a 4.5. I think every collector wants this. I think it's only going to be a space issue for certain collectors, but I think most collectors will not have the space for a flag, but they will have the space for this headquarters, which serves as a great base to display all their favorite figures. And also it works well for play. It works well for pictures. For 83, yes, it is a perfect toy. But would I say this is a must-have for every collector? I would say there's going to be those certain collectors.
Yeah.
They're just going to be like, for whatever reason, I don't need this piece. Like Casey.
Just space. That's it. Only reason, space.
Well, Casey has a flag and a Terror Drum sitting there as well. The flag, yeah, the flag actually replaced this as the main headquarters. Just saying. So,
Yeah, absolutely. The flag is, the standard upon which all others are judged.
yes.
And we will get to be judging the flag in a future Missal We haven't covered it yet, but I am very certain that it's coming up in the future. Yeah, I got to say, this has been a great walk, a great little overview of the headquarters and Hillbilly. Thank you for coming on. It's been real fun having you. Love your stories.
Thank you so much for having me on.
And Casey, I can't believe you deal with this guy every Saturday morning, only to deal with me every Saturday night.
He's a glutton for punishment.
Hey, I'm telling you, these are two things I look forward to doing on Saturdays. So,
Yeah.
very happy to do it.
And then, all right. Well, I think we're ready to close up shop. And that concludes this Missal for the Masses. This has been the Chaplains Assistance Motor Pod, and thank you for listening. The Chaplains Assistance Motor Pod is hosted by Spotify for Podcasters and is also found on many of the other popular podcatchers. Please like, share, review, comment, or otherwise interact with them, as it only helps to improve and grow this podcast. For more Chaplains Assistance Motor Pod, you can find me on social media at Chaplain Joe Pod on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube, or you can send an email to chaplainjoepod@gmail.com.
And if you want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me at podcastfromthepit@gmail.com. Check us out on YouTube, Instagram, and we do have a very fun Facebook group that Hillbilly runs.
And you can find me at Hillbilly Harper on Instagram and podcast from the pit Saturday mornings, or if we're not on Saturday mornings, we're doing a pre-record or whatever. And you can also find me on Facebook in the Podcast from the Pit Facebook page and other Facebook pages.
The Chaplains Assistance Motor Pod is the strange, but not estranged, nerdy little brother of The Pint, a pop culture podcast. And with all of that said and done, one final missile for the masses: be decent to one another.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. And then had a caramel Java chip blizzard.
She won't let me
Sounds
get blues
sweet.
no more.
I can see into the future. Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to have a rough night with the dog tonight, so I might have to put my earmuffs on or go into the gun cabinet and get my earplugs and tunk.
Oh, as soon as I heard gun cabinet, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, get a little Yeller situation going on here.
Not the first time that's come up today.
This is true. You know, I don't know why it bothers everybody whenever he has to put old Yeller down. I'm being serious. It didn't bother me. I see the problem. I knew what had to be done. Even when I was little, I was like, what's the big deal?
It's still sad.
Yeah.
What's wrong with me then? Am I like a
You're a
psycho?
psychopath.
Oh, okay.
Eric, it's late and I don't have time to hit that list.
Thanks, Casey. That you got me right here.
If you wanted to wait 2 minutes, I could run up and get volume 10 of Creating G.I. Joe. We can get the creator and stuff.
That's up to you.
It's up to you.
I don't
You're
have to
the
get
boss.
up early, so
If you don't, if you want, let me just go up and run. Then we could talk about who the genius is. So
Yeah.
I got to leave the recording running. So just hang
no
on
problem.
tight, guys. All
You're
right.
cool.
It's okay. He edits.
That's fine. Yeah, after I started
Podcast from the
rambling.
pit, we don't edit.
Yeah, after
No,
I
I'm
started
saying this dead space.
after I started rambling, I was like, "Oh crap!"
Well, that's kind of why we bring you on, Eric. You're fun to hang out with, and you ramble. We need that
Well,
because after a long day, I'm not the most talkative person in the world.
I'm just having fun, man.
Yeah.
Stuff like this, it really turns my crank. I can't help it.
Yeah.